Hi Tarot Lovelies, it's Ethany and I am finally getting to unbox the Numinous Tarot. I am, oh sorry about the light, it's extraordinarily dark in here. This is a stunning piece of work by Noel Arthur Hempel. I have been following this deck. I've all but stalked Noel every time I've seen them at events, and and also just online. I'm a massive fan of their work. I can't wait to open it and go through this. This has been on my shelf since it came out, since we all started to get our backers rewards from Kickstarter. So this has been another one that's been on my shelf for a long while, and I've been really wanting to work with it. So I'm finally getting through all of those decks. Now that summer school's done and I've done most of my traveling for the year, I can finally get through some of this. So this is comes in a nice big box set, as you can see, and I will clock myself in the head with it. And I'm going to change the cameras and we're going to go through the whole box set, go through each of the cards, give the first impressions and show you what you get with this amazing deck. And I know I've already said like it's amazing and I love it, but I have been following this deck since the artwork started to get shared. So I've seen quite a lot of it, but it's the first time I'm actually holding the physical product and going through it. So I'm very, very excited. So let's go and do the thing. Okay, we're going to go through the Numinous Tarot now. Look at this big, beautiful box. I did take off the plastic before I hit record. So we have the information. The box is just, it's so beautiful, and I can't believe my patience has been so good. Just having this deck sitting on my shelf for as many months as I have. So it's actually quite a nice sturdy cardboard box, and I'm probably going to keep it. So the guidebook is nice and big. Okay, and then the deck comes in a plastic tray. Now what I normally do with my decks, and especially ones that I use a lot, is that I take the boxes and I keep them in a special place in my apartment where all the other boxes are of decks that I'm working with, but I do keep them. And then once they either go out of rotation, I put them back in and then put them back on my shelves. And then so I would find a pouch for this deck so that I can have it easily accessible, because I find when they're on my shelf in these kind of boxes, I don't reach for it as often. So I like to have them out and accessible, but I am going to keep that box because it is beautiful. And then I'll put the guidebook in my library of guidebooks that I have. So let's have a look what we have in here. The table of contents about the deck, tarot basics, how to read the tarot, the Fool's Journey, the Tarot Court, the suits, reversals and spreads, and then we go into the card interpretations. So this was a personal project. I had been following this deck since the beginning. The names of the suits, court cards, and some of the major arcana have been changed for a variety of reasons. The top reason is removal of gender, names, and titles. You will see that the gender expression of the figures on the card varies widely and may not match traditional associations. I do not gender my magic. There is no discussion of feminine or masculine energies within this guidebook. If you like to add your personal association concerning that, please feel free. I've left it open for the reader to decide. All of the figures are referred to in the guidebook with a personal pronoun of they, them, and their. How to read the tarot. Love this bolded section. My word is not law, and I encourage you to use what works for you and toss out the rest. Sentiments are to my own heart. Tarot structure. How to do a reading. A note on fortune telling. I'll read that. Layouts of the cards. The Fool's Journey. The Journey of the Court. Sorry, this book is so big and my screen is so little. So we have dreamers as pages, explorers as knights, creators as queens, and mystics as kings. I like that. Then the suits in this deck are bells for swords, air, candles for wands, fire, tomes for pentacles, earth, vials for cups and water. And then we have the themes. And then, as I was looking for, the spreads. We have the bell spread, the tome spread, the candle spread, the vial spread, and the universal messages spread. And then we go into the interpretation. And I'm going to pull a card and we'll see what we get out of that with meanings. So the deck is gold gilded, is 330 GSM. I find the gold gilding does actually make your cards feel like they're stronger for some reason. And we have a normal gloss finish. That is the back of the card. So as you can see, it is reversible with the sigil there of the deck. Well, that could be the signature of Noel. It might be. I may have to find out. Okay, so let's go through the deck. The Numinous. The World. So go on. Awakening. So this is the order that the deck has come in from the back, and for me it's not a big deal anyway. The Sun. I think there is so much important work in this deck. It's inclusive. It's probably one of the most inclusive decks out there. The Moon. It's talking about removing gender connections with the tarot. And that may be a very important thing for you, but for a large number of people, there's no representation and there's no consideration of that. The Star. And it's one of the reasons why I took out the gender in my tarot card, because gender is the Tower. Gender is a construct. It is a social construct. And I love that we're moving away from the shadow. That in a lot of ways. And again, you can put feminine, masculine energies onto things. I am pagan. I am a witch. I was trained as a Wiccan. So therefore I work with goddess energy and I work with God energy. But I also work with a sliding scale in there as well, and with voids and deities and entities that have no gender, like anything to do with nature spirits, temperance. So I think there's room for all of it, basically, is what I'm saying. Death, that is a stunning card. The Hanged One. A little hobbit hole door, and also a little bit like Yoda's domain. Justice. I feel like our justice cards would be friends. The Wheel of Fortune. The artwork is just so stunning. And you see here the 4 suits, the vials, the bells, the candles, and the tomes. Okay, so the 10 of vials. Ten of tomes. Come to my library. God, I love libraries. 10 of candles. Oh, I love it. It's like the burden has dripped down. It's like, oh, just amazing. 10 of bells. The Hermit. Oh, that's an interesting place for the Hermit. I didn't even notice that the Hermit wasn't in there. I'm going to go through this deck and put it all in order. The Nine of Vials, just to make sure. The Nine of Tomes. The Nine of Candles. The Nine of Bells. I love that, like that, unable to unhear it, you know, like that deafening sound that accompanies anxiety. Strength. Oh, I see what's happening. It's been with the way that it's been printed with the number of the files. That's what's happened. And I only know that because I've done production a number of times. Eight of Vials. Eight of Tomes. My idea of a good night in, to be honest. Eight of Candles. Eight of Bells. The Chariot. Seven of Vials. My beautiful apothecary. Seven of Tomes. Oh, I love that. What we sow. Seven of Candles. The Seven of Bells. And the Lovers. Just so gorgeous. The Six of Vials. Beautiful. That's just so beautiful. The Six of Tomes. Six of Candles. Six of Bells. The Visionary. The Five of Vials. Five of Tomes. Oh, that's a powerful image there. The Five of Candles. Interesting, and no one's lighting the center one. It's like, I want to light it, I want to light it. The Five of Bells. The artwork is so stunning. And again, I've seen the originals, a lot of the originals at Northwest Tarot Symposium last year. And the detail in this artwork is stunning. The founder. I love that. The Four of Vials. The Four of Tomes. And the Four of Candles, so beautiful. The Four of Bells. Three of Vials. Three of Tomes. I want that shirt. And the Three of Candles. And the Three of Bells. The Nurturer. That's so gorgeous. 2 of vials. Oh, so cute. Legs and fins. I love that. That's so cool. 2 of tones. The 2 of candles. The 2 of bells. The diviner. The magician. The ace of vials. The ace of tones. Grimoire. The ace of candles. The ace of bells. The fool. That's a leap of faith. So the mystic of vials. Now we moved to the court. The mystic of tones. The mystic of candles. It's gorgeous. Mystic of bells. The explorer of vials, sorry. I love that. And so as you can see, this does have its own system. The explorer of tomes, or you can put your own tarot knowledge on top of this. And this is what I like about the tarot, is it can be all, none, both, whatever you like. Explorer of candles, a salamander, so cute. Explorer of bells, she's beautiful. Dreamer of vials. Dreamer of tomes. Dreamer of candles. Dreamer of bells. Creator of vials. Creator of tomes. I believe that's Noel. Creator of candles. It looks like Noel. And creator of bells. This is just such a beautiful deck. This was on Kickstarter. As I mentioned, it was at the beginning of the year, so I'll have to, hopefully there's still some decks left. Shuffles really nicely. Standard tarot size. Let's see what we get in the guidebook. What have we got today? Oh, and I said how much I loved this. The 6 of vials. Okay, so the... Now I've got to find it. The 6 of vials. So we get a page of information here on each card, and we get the image. We have the upright. So we have, once we moved on from the loss and the grief of the 5 of vials, we're able to look back on our past with more positive feelings. So I love how we have the connection, and this is one of the ways that I talk about reading the cards, the connection of the card before in the suit and the card after. So I love that. This card can represent being reunited. The Six of Vials can further represent our ancestors and the connections we have, and then the reverse meaning. So that is really awesome. I like how every card in the minor has about now that we've moved on from our past in the Six of Vials, where do we go next? So again, there's that connection, and I really like that. And I do reversal too, so not as in the reversal of the card, but what comes before this is grief, the Five of Cups, the Five of Vials, and that's one way to read the card. One way to read the tarot cards is the progression. So I'm ecstatic to use this deck. It's going straight into my working pile for myself and my clients. I can't recommend it enough if you've enjoyed the imagery and you want to support indie artists. I will put a link as to where you can get the Numinous Tarot below. And as always, thank you so much for watching.